how bad they were is starting to be undersold as we move 1 week away from the season. They really stunk. They were dumb and they couldn't score. Other than that, they were terrific.
Late night, WEEI, it's KJ. Thank you so much for hanging out. 617-779-7937. Text line 37937. It's Tommy Curran on Gresh and Fourier. Just talking about where the Patriots really were as a team, because it seemed like as the playoff games were going on this weekend and some of the things that you were seeing happen, people were getting frustrated and saying, you know what, the Patriots could have beaten that team. No. And it's beyond the offensive coordinator stuff. It's really a cultural issue that has to be addressed. And I think Bob Kraft at the top is saying, we're going to do something. Something's going to happen. Something big is going to happen. I'll get to that in a second. Joe Braverman, producer, how are you tonight, man? Thanks for being here.
Thank you, KJ. It's been a little bit quiet, but happy to be back.
I'm not going to go there. It's the final countdown. That's the song right there. But look, it's one of those situations where the Patriots have to determine, as an organization, the team that's been on the field the last, let's call it 25 games. Is this a team in 25 games that's going to be much better if you don't do something drastic? The answer is no. I mean, if you're talking about like Devontae Parker coming back as a wide receiver one, that's bad news. People are like, well, what about a trade for DeAndre Hopkins? My question would be, well, what will be coming back? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, to get something that good. And the other part of it is because you just missed the playoffs. So it's not like you're at the top of the draft, right? Like in the NFL, you either have to be a really bad team to make a big move or a really good team that has key pieces to make a big move, right? So, you look at Kansas City. Like for them losing Tyreek Hill wasn't the worst thing in the world because they had multiple pieces. But if, say, Tyreek Hill was on the Patriots and it was the one piece you had, that'd be devastating. So at some point, the Patriots have to look at, do we look at getting one big piece? Then came the story from a site Bet Online that said if Lamar Jackson doesn't stay with Baltimore, he's most likely going to end up with the Patriots. Here's Ty Law on his thoughts about the conversation of people saying, why would you want to bring a guy here who quit on his team?
Hell no, he didn't quit on his team. I mean, if anybody got any sense, you don't know the extent of the injury. People are going to speculate because he's going through, and he was willing to go out there for the team, take one for the team.
Yeah. Oh, KJ, please don't tell me your suggestion that they bring Lamar Jackson here. You're not one of those guys, are you? Well, first I would say that is a hefty price tag for Bill Belichick. But is it a hefty price tag for Robert Kraft? See, in this whole narrative, we talk about Belichick and everything and the team and so forth, you forget that he's still kind of an underboss in the big boss scenario of there's an owner who might want to make a big splash. Now, I'll tell you right now, the Lamar Jackson narrative will not play very well in New England. Why? Let's just call it what it is. Sometimes we like to see ourselves in the starting quarterback, right? Because we're out there throwing with our kids. You want to put the quarterback jersey on. This is what kind of saves Mac. This is why you had a lot of hand-holding for Mac. This is why Mac was like top 10 in jersey sales in his rookie year, even though he was handing off the ball the most. Is sometimes you want to see yourself in the leader of the team. I get it. I'm not mad. I get it. But if you're one of those who thinks that, oh, that would be a bad move by the Patriots to get Lamar Jackson, are you kidding? Did you see what's been rolled out there for the last 17 games? They have this saying in the music industry, right? That it isn't about the person who can sing the best. It's about the person who people could feel like they can relate to the best. So you could have a person who sings, oh, they're absolutely crazy, and you know nothing about them. But then you might have an artist that's really pretty and affable, and you could sing along to them in the shower, and you don't sound bad because they don't really sound that great.
Yeah, almost every singer now has like a sort of persona or a character, and I think that's what gravitates people to them.
Right. So the idea with Mac Jones is you're singing in the shower to a bad tune right now. That's what it is.
Hey, I'm a great shower singer, just so you know.
I don't need to know that. That might be too much personal information, according to what we have in our handbooks here in the business. But thank you, Joe. Look, I get it. You have to admit that the love affair for Mac was trying to see Tom Brady all over again. The league has changed. You saw Tom Brady get exposed in a league where if you look at all the quarterbacks that are still left in the playoffs, they all can at least run for 10 to 15 yards in a game at a key point. Now, I'm not talking 78 yards leading your team in rushing Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones can do that. How many games would Lamar Jackson would have won if he was able to use his arm and his legs with two tight ends? Would Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith suddenly become important again? I mean, if you see what the Cowboys did last night, a lot of tight end action. Why? Quarterback's got a little mobility, can move, can extend the play a little bit, find someone up the middle. Just call it what it is. Mac is a British soldier in a straight line in 1775. But there are some people who are like, no, I don't want Lamar Jackson. He's injury prone. He'd cost so much. Do you want to win? Or do you want a bellyache? Now, do I think Lamar Jackson ends up here? No. I think Baltimore gets smart. They franchise tag him. They try to find someone to trade him to. But I also have news for you. If you want to hang on to Mac, he's eventually going to cost you $40 million a year. So do you pay for $40 million a year now, Lamar Jackson, or $40 million a year in 3 years, Mac Jones, at this point?
I mean, do you really think, like, at this moment, Mac Jones is worth $40 million a year? I feel like even himself would say, yeah,
$4 would be a stretch. $4 million would be a stretch. And he's getting more than that. You're literally seeing the game change in front of your eyes, and you have two clear examples, one on the high end, one on the low end. Tom Brady threw the ball 66 times last night. Well, they say, well, give him a perfect line, give him a perfect running game. I'll get into that in about 15 minutes. Why? It sounds all great. That's like Santa fitting down every single chimney when he goes to every kid's house. Come on now. And the low end on that is Mac Jones. And I'm saying if something is not addressed soon, this is why I say Bailey Zappi might compete for the job in camp, is because if there is going to be a stiff quarterback back there that you like only because you and your kid can toss a ball in the backyard and feel good about it, you're not going to have a winning football team. It'll be worse than 8-9. The defense probably won 3 games this year. This easily could have been a 5-12 team. Here's Ty Law expanding more today on Ty Law Tuesday on the Greg Hill Show about you would want Lamar Jackson.
I think Lamar Jackson will be a fit anywhere he goes because he's that dynamic of a player. But I can't see Bill Belichick saying $235 million.
Yeah. But Bob Kraft might be that guy. If he doesn't believe in Mac, you need to make a move now. There's nothing in the draft that you're high enough to move up to get. You've heard Bob Kraft's comments about we haven't won a playoff game in I don't know how many years now. Now throw on top of that, we've missed the playoffs. In terms of his team, it's not my team. And then the $230 million that you're throwing about, you hear, is because that's what Deshaun Watson got. Stories are that Lamar Jackson was offered like $130. I believe if you get him above the number of Russell Wilson at like 165, Dak Prescott at 160, Stafford at 160, Kyler Murray at 230. You just have to explain Lamar Jackson. If you want to be here, you'll win pretty quickly.
Yeah, and remember, Lamar's his own agent. He doesn't have an agent, so he's negotiating with himself.
Well, I know how that feels. You'd be the most talented person in the world, they won't speak to you. It's just like, hey, look, I'm just trying to prevent someone from robbing me of 12%. Because when you guys get in the room, it's like in the scene in Hamilton. You know, when in the room when it happened. In the room when it happened. And when you're your own agent, you're in the room when it happened when it doesn't happen. But that's also a whole nother story right there in terms of the disrespect to Lamar Jackson because he's his own agent. Really? So a man can't speak for himself? I bet you're listening to him now when he wasn't there. Boss, I'm sick. My knee hurts. It's a 2.5, almost a 3 sprain, maybe 2.75, sir. Can't get out there. Wish you luck. I don't blame him. But if you're talking 200, 215, and he gets to be able to reclaim his image, because a little bit's been tarnished, but it also tells you a lot. The guy's won an MVP. He's taken his team to the playoffs. He's done more in the first 5 years than some other guys have, like 10 years into their career, who are getting paid. I mean, my gosh, Matthew Stafford got all that money before he saw any type of wins. 617-779-7937, text line 37937. Look, if Lamar Jackson comes here, you have a winning football team. If it's playing around and thinking like, oh, we'll try and make it work with Mac and we'll do some more hand-holding, that's cool if you want mediocrity. That's what all I've been saying. I said that this past season was really all about whether Mac could progress. And sometimes, there's a show on Netflix, I think it's called like Lava Floor or something like that.
Oh, The Floor is Lava. It's like a game show or something.
Yeah, The Floor is Lava. That's it. Where, hey, we do want you to win the money. It just isn't always going to be easy. And if we don't give you top-notch, creme de la creme coordinators, because let's face it, you think Patricia and Judge were creating anything new that was different, anything different than a basic Josh McDaniels operating manual? Tests. How you respond, how you react, what you do in adversity. Stories leaking out, or are you keeping it under your hat? Boy, I haven't heard a thing from the Bailey Zappi camp. We know the plays. Put us in there, coach. 617-779-7937. Text line 37937. KJ, late night. Don't be offended if I tell you that, look, you might not want Lamar Jackson because it'd be hard to throw that toss back and forth with your kid with a Jackson jersey on. I'm just saying. More Patriots, Tom Brady next as well. Plus dry January. I got a question or two. But right now it's time to trend with Joe Braverman.